episode of the Intellectual Property Center question and answer. Today we have Dr. Martin Balaaba. He is an innovator, an entrepreneur, and most important is he's a medical doctor and he has done a few innovations in the medical field and would like to share his experience as far as his innovations are concerned, alongside the legal and the intellectual property implications that he's faced with. Thank you, Dr. Martin.
Thank you, Norman, for hosting me. This is quite an interesting platform. I hope will benefit other people like me who have been in the dark about this. You know, it's usually until you get to a certain level of innovating that you realize you've been doing things in the wrong way, that you're not protected and you're really exposed. And there are a couple of things that I have gone through with friends that as we started out, and we realized that we were exposed, but we did not regard, we were more excited about the idea and the concept and bringing it to life, and we ignored the fact that we needed to be protected. And we did not even know what it means to be protected or what has to be protected. And I think I shared views with many innovators in the country and in Africa as a whole, because there's lack of sensitization about IP and what IP really entails. What is a patent? What makes a product patentable? You know, what is copyright? All those things, we go to a level where we put a product and we are now challenged by people who are trying to come up with the same idea. They had it from us, went on to it. But at the point where we realized that we did not have any legal backing. And I have seen it personally and also from other innovators. We set out to do amazing innovations and we know they're going to cause impact. But we are so blind because we do not know, beyond the idea, we do not know what other structures, especially legal structures, that we need. And to this date, most of my colleagues are doing things haphazardly until they reach a point where they're either going to face a lawsuit or they're being challenged by a competitor and they have no idea how they're going to be protected.
So, Dr. Martin, I understand that you have an app, Balaaba, that you've developed. Do you mind telling us more about this app and what it does and how much progress you've so far made in developing it and putting it out there in the market?
Well, what the app does is basically bringing medical services next to you as an individual. Imagine a scenario where you're at home and you just need medical help. Whatever it might be an emergency, or you need a medical doctor to come and check on you, or you need to get your drugs delivered to you, or you need to consult. So we bring these services next to you and they are real time. So the issue of delays when you go to the hospital, of you not knowing which hospital is next to you, is also on an app. It has geolocation and geotags for the medical doctors and other healthcare service providers. So in case you need any form of medical help, it's how like you can call an Uber, but this is a bit different because it has patient data and confidentiality is the core of everything, because we also have to limit the kind of interaction data that we capture. But we're creating relevant content that a Ugandan common person can use. So beyond just it being an application, we wanted it to cause impact across. So even the people who don't have smartphones, how can they access a similar service? So we got the whole concept and transformed it into the USSD structure, where the advantage is when you have the application and you have internet, you geotag. So people, whatever service you need, they just zoom in and you select. And these different service providers are rated and qualified by the Ministry of Health. And you also make a comment. But someone who has a basic feature phone might not have the app, can't access the application. But we've tailored the whole web application and mobile application into a USSD service where you press start something and then we drop down, so that in our offices we are seeing the kind of requests you're making, and then we are reporting in real time and contacting the people next to you, because we can see your requests coming in and then we follow the people we want to what kind of service that you need, and then we revert in real time.
That's quite interesting. What kind of challenges, especially on the legal side and intellectual property side, have you faced in developing this app and putting it out there on the market?
Well, beyond just the excitement of the idea, it's a very creepy thing to face, because it's being in an arena which is very sensitive. This is people's health. You have issues of data confidentiality, people's medical records, and one of the most secretive things that people keep. And for you to win the trust of people, that when you have this interaction between the doctor and you have a data center that is keeping this data, what are you using this data for? Won't you expose me? Yeah? How confident am I that if I'm HIV positive or if I seek your services, I will not be exposed, and then the issues of stigma and all challenges that come with people's health being put to the public come in, and then also the different entities that control the health sector of the country, the ministry, the districts. Yeah? What frameworks do we have in place to give them assurance that this is the kind of data we're capturing, and what use shall we have for this data, and how safe is people's data with us? Yeah. So it was a very big issue, because people need to know what they're signing up to, how much we need from them, and how much confidence we give them about the safety of their data. So it's massive, and it's a dynamic process, because every single day you discover there's this other aspect that you need to consider, that you know what all thought is a small issue, but actually it's not a small issue. So that lack of insight into what legal advice and legal protection we need, or how much we need to seek from the people on our platform, is something that has been evolving, and trying to get advice from IP experts. Yeah. It's a very big challenging thing, because the stakeholders and the public have challenges of trusting these applications for this kind of data capture.
Yeah. And how far have you gone with securing registration? And because my assumption is it's not a one-man show. You must be having a couple of partners within yourselves. So how have you tackled such situations whereby you have more than one partner, and you have to do registration and that kind of ring fencing? Because eventually when it starts making money, so many times the innovators are faced with issues to do with how do we share, when do we, what have you put up in that regard?
I think I'll just make a small agenda about that. Most of the things I have gone on to do in this project was, I found out along the journey. I had an idea how a company is set up, how you're going to divide shares, because usually with this kind of idea, to build the software alone, yeah, you need a minimum of about $100,000, which I did not have. To set up all this infrastructure, IT alone, before you even go into operation, is very expensive. So I had to rely on friends to bootstrap money. So invest my own money, and then bootstrap, collect from friends, and then promise them equity. But even me promising them a share of the company, I did not know how to do that. I had to consult. I had to know what my input was, what projections I had for this company, what the people I was partnering with were going to bring on board, how much do they want, what would be their involvement. Are they going to be active partners or just investors? But all those things I did not know how to ring fence, as you say. So I had to seek, again, legal advice, because I was stranded about people bringing in money, and you don't know how you're going to deal with them bringing in money. But because I'm desperate, I want to see this idea come into life. I do not know exactly how to bring in partners and share equity. So we have to sit on the table, consult a lawyer about, this is what I have, how do I go about this? It's been very, very challenging, because I know I'm the founder behind this idea, but I can't do it alone. And there's always this thing of this is my thing. If I let go of a piece of it, how will someone else handle it? If one day we become very profitable, will I be willing to let someone else share a piece of my energy or my idea? So all these barriers I had to break. And I had to understand what legal implications there were in bringing on partners to do a job like this. Because it's a challenge, it's really, really big challenge. And I was at that point where I didn't want anyone to come on board, but I needed money, I needed external expertise beyond me. I needed to hire people who are smarter than me in the different structures of setting up an establishment like this. So the first barrier was me to understand that I needed a team, but how I needed a team and bringing it together in terms of resources and equity allocation was a challenge.
So apparently, much of what is Ulam, formerly known as Musao, has much of it has transgressed, or the progression has since moved from your private ownership to ownership of by a couple of people, equity,
Yeah.
and how what can I say? How easy was it to get this equity? Because as far as I know, majority of my friends who are innovators that have been in consultation, money becomes a big challenge.
The issue of equity starting out is really, really hard. Yeah? And I can't say I knew how to. The question was, how do I want to? So, realizing that this was a very expensive venture beyond just the excitement, I honestly did not know, because there are false promises, I should say, by the way. It's a very frustrating journey for people. Someone will like your idea, they say, I'm going to give you so much of money, and I will be active, and I want this percentage. And then you agree, but they will not deposit the money. Yeah? But they will still want shares, they will still keep you hoping. Promising, and they never come through. But remember, these are now already legally binding agreements. And so you caught in this uncomfortable war between you and usually my friends, because these are the people who first appreciate the idea. So it was always a challenge, and I got a bit frustrated. I did not know exactly how much I needed in the first place to make this happen, and what I was going to offer them. So equity was a challenge, and money was a very sensitive thing to talk about. Because usually when they're giving you money, what happens in these startups is people want to own you when they give you money.
That's true.
They want to own you, and then they forget that they're coming on board for something that you are going to create. So me as a founder, I have this comfort, because hey, what I'm coming up with is going to give more money. But now you want to own me, you want me to be a slave to you. And beyond the money, which you've just promised, you're not even giving me any more value. But because I'm desperate, I need the resources to make this happen. I have to find a way. And I fell out with very many friends, because I did not know how to allocate. Many were excited about the idea, but I didn't know what they were signing up to.
All right. So, well, a few days ago, we were having a similar discussion with our founder, and one of the key issues that came up, besides registration and protection of intellectual property, we have a partnership with the SIA, Open Society, and they believe, or they've come to understand, that you see now innovation has blossomed, but there's one problem. There is misguided innovation. All right?
Yeah.
That there's a lot of innovation without use, or not applicable. And there is a lot of need for innovation which is not known. And you as an innovator, we discussed our own solutions, but I'd like to hear from you. What do you think is the most appropriate venue or avenue for innovators in your caliber in such an environment where there is misguided innovation and there is also protectionism in terms of people are more interested in innovation from abroad, and they're also not willing to let out information of what they're interested in. You know, there's such, I call it a mismatch of needs and innovation. And I want to believe that before you came up with your application, you first you sat down to realize what is the niche, what are you covering, how much will you cover, what is the spectrum in that regard.
That's a very good question. And this is where comes the point of mentorship. Because you ask the question that exposes the need for that bridge to be created.
Correct.
And it's for those who have gone through experiences like mine that need to pass this knowledge and guidance,
Correct,
to the next breed. So I am blessed to have had a mentor. Yeah? For some reason, he thought I was a unique person when I was still in medical school, and he always believed that I always have amazing ideas.
You must have cured the dead.
So and the way he did mentor me, he never gave me any formal classes or anything like that. No, I just tagged along him. Up to now, he's called Dr. John Makwanika. He's the one who started TMCG, and I was still in 4th year, but he would call me when there were nothing, and he would tell me, now we're planning this, what do you think? And I could make contributions. So I was learning.
Oh, that's the medical
The
concept.
medical concept group with Davis Musinguzi,
Yeah.
John Makwanika. So I was working with these guys through their journey of the really rough times, and that's the time I was closest to them, and I worked with them.
You know, something it still has something.
The medical
TMCG. Yes.
And they have applications. And
Yes. So that to me helped me understand. I could see their frustrations. I could see, because this was a new thing in the country. No one knew what innovation was all about. There were no structures,
especially for the medical field.
especially in the medical field. You don't have any guidance. So these guys just jumped in head first, and they had to figure it out. And because John Mark, I don't know if he did it directly or indirectly, he mentored me. These guys mentored me. I can't say it was 100% mentorship, but I was also willing to learn. That by the point I came up with my own idea, I knew, or I had to think through quite a number of things. Misguided innovation is very easy. It is very, very easy. Because you're in your room, you think this is the idea. And that is how blind you can get. That you launch a product, like most Ugandan applications, are not appreciated by Ugandans because they are not relevant, content-wise. I mean, why are you going to develop an application that is so heavy, yeah, that is intense on data, yet someone from abroad will create the same content, yeah, very sizable and more relevant. So the missing link is knowledge, and because still this country doesn't have mentorship programs, mentorship is very, very important. Yeah, you will not know how best to improve the idea. I did discuss Umsao then, but it has gone through phases of break it down, take it up, break it down, take it up. It has been a discipline I had to learn, because not everyone is willing. When you have this idea, you believe in it too much that you even forget the most basic things. Now when I brought in a few other guys who are better than me, I should say, always getting people who are better than you and accepting they're better than you, helps improve the idea. And these guys said, you can't do this because of this, you can't do this because of this. Indirectly, they're teaching me what not to do. So for us not to have knowledge for Balaaba by now, it seems like it's frustration, but it is actually a very good thing. So mentorship is key. And that is why I always challenge these innovation hubs and innovation places. If you do not have the structures to advise these youngsters in time, they're going to go 5 years frustrated, and they will give up on something which will have been redefined along the 5 years, yeah, and made it commercial and more impactful. That is why I'm advocating that for every innovation hub, like where I'm working at the Ugandan Academy for Innovation and Impact, we want to have an IP person attached. because we are going into these universities and conducting innovative talks, yeah, and we want to support these youngsters, but we need to build their capacity in terms of understanding what entrepreneurship is, what innovation is, and what they need to look at, and how to give them the positive criticism, and along the way mentor them to build the right and appropriate structures, which is very good for them. But right now, there are quite a number of ideas that are scattered everywhere because these people lack the proper mentorship. There's so many innovation hubs, but they are not yet so structured to give the rightful support. And the rightful support is mentor these guys. Innovators are looking out for money, but I came to a point where I had to realize that there's so much beyond just wanting the capital. So what if you have the money? If a bank gives you money that is, those days used to be, we don't have capital, seed funding. And along the way I realized if a bank gave me 200 million to build South, then what structure did I have in place? Besides resign my job, go and waste the money. How was I going to hire people? How was I going to build something that is company, that is legal entity, that is running, that is commercial, that is impactful? I have interacted with innovators from South Africa and other regions. People come up with things and then later realize there's no impact. They didn't even know what they were doing. It's like sitting in the ivory tower to make decisions for the man in Chikugo. You need to, if your solution is in Chikugo, go to Chikugo. Have the interaction with people in Chikugo, not in the ivory tower.
So you're saying services should be brought down?
Services should be brought down. Structures have to be created. Mentorship is very, very key.
Mr. Richard told me that the lawyer, he calls me the lawyer, says the lawyer needs to come to the ground. You need to leave your comfortable seat, take off your jacket and go down. Go to the hub and talk to the people in the hubs. Speak to them and guide them. He believes, same like you, that though his approach is different, but it's also a mentorship agreement. And as such, we have been afforded time as Intellectual Property Center that we need to carry on, at least for us to realize innovation, we need to pick up at least 6 people or 6 innovators in different fields for mentorship. And at first I was resistant. I was saying for us to simply provide of knowledge. All we do is give people knowledge.
No, you need to go beyond that. That's why I was asking. I was wondering if URSB, the registration body in Uganda, do they have an active IP department that goes beyond just registering all these establishments, but where you have URSB working together with the IP center, that if an innovator goes to the IP center, registers this, you tell them you have this department where we're going to give you this kind of advice, and legal frameworks that are going to protect you, that are going to give you more insight into how you're going to build something that is commercial. Because trust me, there are very many registered companies, very many. 5 years down the road, or just 1 year, look for them. And there are lawyers who have given these people all this legal advice, right? By the time URSB registers them, that means there's a legal person. But not every lawyer out there, there are very many on the streets, have the capacity to understand what IP is. IP is a specialty. We shouldn't treat it like common cough.
So IP to you is not just registration?
It's not just registration.
And it's more to development, really.
Yes.
I think you do actually raise very, very important points that I think we should take to URSB, because URSB does try to do IP awareness programs. But like you said, we need to get out of the boardrooms, the conference rooms, and go down to the level of the people that we seek to give this knowledge. Because at the moment, even when you go to register a company, I don't think we do give IP advice at that point.
No.
You know, it's like 2 separate departments, but they're actually under one organization. So I think you do raise a very important point, and as URSB, we have URSB IP people who are part of our intellectual property cluster for Uganda Law Society, and I think normally this is something we could take to them about empowering these young innovators that go to register their different innovations, even those who just go to consult, because there are those who just go to consult or have this innovation, what do I do? And I think it would really help to build capacity with them, like
And
to
the
direct
thing
them
is,
to a lawyer.
it shouldn't be a one-going thing.
Yeah.
This is, like I said, it's a dynamic, ongoing thing. You wake up in the morning and you find there's a different angle you hadn't looked at. And it can bring the former structures completely down. So, we need to take the services of IP beyond just the boardroom or URSB having a department. It needs to be a rolling basis and be attached to this innovator so that they can fully understand. You see them through their journey and be proud of the journey that you've seen them. When they become commercial, they know IP Center is the one which has made me get this commercial. I'm protected and I'm making money. But then also we have the biggest challenge, actually, the elephant in the room is government policy. You have all these stakeholders scattered. You have MITA, you have URSP, you have UCC, you have ICT. And literally they're doing the same thing.
Science and innovation.
Science and innovation. And you have people in these ministries who are not tech savvy. They are not in the generation of understanding the dynamism of technology and the innovation ecosystem. They might hold the big positions, but they do not have the biggest ideas about what is happening. So things like IP, they have no understanding about what is IP. You know, they are too shallow to understand the essence of having IP and how they need to deeply invest in this, because any innovation that is going to make good impact in the country and the world must have IP. So government,
that is as we go to the middle income status.
Yes.
Exactly. So you can have a middle income status when you have certain people who are not relevant in those offices. Because I have interacted with many of them, and you have a discussion and you actually realize it is out of respect that this person is in this office. Beyond that, he's not relevant. He shouldn't be in this office. He doesn't have an understanding of even the most basic things.
You know, they always make a joke that in France, they'll ask you for your CV. I think even the word the CV must have started from France. In the US, they'll ask you for your experience. In Uganda, they'll ask you who is your father, where do you come from, that you get the job, sit and start working.
And then you bring someone from Kashari, you understand?
No, obviously not. Though, this conversation goes further and bigger every other day.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the type of dimension we're looking through. And we were having this discussion further with our funders, and they believe we need to show IPC should be measured on results, not on quantities of how many people perceive information. As long as you take it over there, that's a good thing, but handpick a few people and test the IP usefulness on them and mentor them, because innovation is threefold. It's one, the innovation itself. Two, it's the protection, and the three is the commercialization, which you can see here. Innovate, protect, and commercialize. The idea is means intellectual property center, but the intrusive meaning is that that's what we believe in. And for me, my other thought on mismatch, innovational mismatch, would be an aggressive database where all innovators throw what they would think they need, or before them, the so-called government corporations and the MTNs or the like, to give us what their next phase of their planning is. That I need to have an app which collects rubbish and throws it inside the car or outside the car. Then from this same database, the innovators can look through and say, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. Because one of the biggest challenges we face is all these things we can do here outsourced. The same way I quarrel every other day when I see soap made from Malaysia and India in our supermarkets. You see soap, coffee, juice, cups. We make all these things here. We have cups coming from plastics in Kenya, but we have so many plastic companies here. And the same is happening to the innovators. And to me, that is our biggest problem. Like you said, government policy, we have people who are not qualified to be there. These are things they should have done. The president should understand. Why are you importing cotton? We have cotton. Why are you importing coffee? We have coffee. So all these things, those countries that have moved to middle income economies have done certain things which can be looked at as gruesome. To some level, I agree with Trump when he says, look, this America is for Americans. Why are you bringing in all these things from China when they can be made by Americans right here? So, as people in the intellectual property field and in the innovation field, our forces should be to assert ourselves and express our interests. Okay? That this is what we have, this is what we can do. Can you consider us as providers? Why are we importing metals from America and wherever, Russia, when we have the Joakali in Katore? Some of these things can be done there. They're even being done there.
And then the other thing the challenge I want to pose to IP Center. The giant in the room is the government. I had an interesting comment that the only way you can show relevance to the government, show them competition. That is how we become relevant. I would like IP Center to reach out to the innovators. Yeah? Go to these different hubs, Innovation Village, Ugandan Academy. See who is doing what. Show them the relevance of having this. Because we assume NITA and ICT should have a database of these innovation hubs, which they do not have. If IP Center starts going out to Innovation Village to hold talks, yeah, lightning talks to some of these innovators, yeah. You go to Design Hub, industrial area, kids are doing amazing stuff, but not all of them will be known by NITA. So you have to create a bypass for yourselves also as you're trying to get the relationship with the government.
So Dr. Martin, we want to thank you so much for being with us today. You've given us a lot of insight into what we can do, what you're also facing out there, and we're going to take that under advisory. And we're going, as IP Center, we're going to reach out more to the people, to the innovators. We're going to get out of this boardroom, definitely. And obviously, from our discussion, I would like to emphasize the importance of registration of your innovations as the very first step. You know, protect your innovation before you can move on to commercialization. We want to thank Dr. Martin for joining us today. It's been a very wonderful discussion.